Monsters last weekend on the half shell. They weren't completely different than I thought they'd be. Like, not fishy at all. Like, one of them tastes like citrus and vegetables. Just followed the dudes.
The birds followed the dudes back to ship.
And it was heavily guarded.
It was heavily guarded. And, that was where you were at. Was where we left off.
Let's continue the rave.
Oh yeah, that's right. I had promised a show that got out of hand, and the show did not go well. I'll go to the barkeep. Barkeep, you have to forego my charges, as the show did not go off as planned. Think nothing of it. And I walk confidently out that door.
Oh boy.
What's Jordan doing?
Jordan was sailing south
He's going
to
south?
Port Barrington.
And didn't he leave before the whole fight broke out?
Well, he was going to the ship before the fight broke out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything.
I remember I got knocked the fuck out, and then the guy just kind of walked over me and like, because I had broken the door, and I'm like, you're dead.
You just didn't use back and forth.
And you guys didn't do anything.
Yeah. Yep.
He told you if you run, you kill the next person that ran, you ran away, and then he ran away, and then
Everyone
Oh,
ran
shit.
away.
I didn't run away.
he ran away.
They tried to run away, and I
Do you have
stood in
anything-
front of them, and then one of them bull rushed me.
Yeah,
over
weren't you
the-
unconscious or like almost?
No, I just got knocked.
I want to go to Jordan.
Okay.
It's just terrible,
He's on his
terrible
ship.
country.
They are preparing to set off on his trade journey.
Do we have any quests here right now?
We have a bunch of stuff to
the
the
one that goes
southwest.
back-
Okay, things that we
Any-
discussed in the previous session.
Are there any exclamation
You
points?
you talked to the church,
Okay,
Yep.
right.
and you had sent a missive to the main
Yep.
branch a while back.
Yep.
I'm just going to assume that you guys got all the rumors from the tavern, right?
Right.
There was talk about trade being reestablished with House Veldaria,
Yep.
but the blight in the forest is
Still
worse.
some shit going on
Yeah.
down there.
We should go
There
back
was
there.
talks of warships in the south. Some say orcish warships, some say marks of ogres, some say it was the marks of devils, but there's warships sailing in the seas to the south. The farmers have reported to the south that there's a shadow in the skies, and there's rumblings that a dragon or dragons are in the area. And then there's also the rumor coming from that the council has put out a message that the Gem of Hexter was destroyed, but rumors are that it's still out there, that it could potentially be on the wild continent of Eris. Some say it was the power that fueled the overthrow of King Dane, and others say that the Dragon Council got it. And then there's also the spreading that there's just kind of rumors floating around that the gods are at war, and then others are saying it's heretics, trying to make people pick sides and draw away from religions.
Don't we have a bunch of cult people here too?
There was rumblings that Afflix has been around in town.
Yeah.
There was also the cleric of Pelor that you bumped into that let you guys know that there's a bounty on your head.
Yep.
We figured that out.
And
Yep.
there's a
Never figured
no-go
that out.
city across the way.
There's only a bounty on your guys' head, though, isn't there?
Huh?
Only a bounty on your guys' head, right?
Nothing
Yeah.
was said for you guys.
There's a blue lady too.
Yeah, we can go to her. We also have the Devil's Maw, which apparently I know about somehow.
Hey, I know something about that.
Yeah, we were.
I know a thing about the demon's mouth.
Yeah, you do.
I have the Devil's Maw. So we can. Long ago, as a fortress for mercenary group, they became pirates. Garrison and army to wipe out pirates, generally thought as uninhabitable
Pirates,
wild.
they're aggressive
Each ship to go
salvagers.
there. According to my
Can we
immaculate
try to
notes.
find some mercenaries?
My
Sure, I'll back you up.
my
I don't have
dream
very
that I
high
had,
charisma, so.
or vision, I guess,
When we get to it, you do the
was that
talking.
we
I'll
must
translate
enter
it.
the demon's mouth.
You tell me, and then I'll.
I'm gonna develop.
It's to
a
the
style
south, isn't it?
over time because of my charisma.
Which way is
Charisma.
Jordan going?
South.
I think we should go with Jordan
Do you
into
guys
the
know?
demon's mouth.
Does our paths align?
We're like, yeah,
Yeah.
Afflux, he ain't going nowhere. There's a good church here. We can
Shush.
rely on them to kill the undeads.
What you doing?
Can we
Sure.
sell the evil they let into their
Zipper comes off.
Yeah, but they had a plan.
Not the fun way.
It didn't work, but they had a
They
plan.
failed miserably at
We
it.
have to expunge Afflux from this. Go on, get.
That's gonna take too long. We gotta go with Jordan.
Okay.
So,
We gotta stick with our bros. These are
Alright.
our bros.
Which
I'm
way is the
amenable to
no-go
that.
city?
No go city.
Yeah, the city where we don't want to go.
That's across the desert.
Is it?
I thought that was the place we wanted to go.
Prince Alif. No, you know what? There's two cities. There's the very, very, very far ass of the world one that very few people go to, and then there's the oasis that's kind of in the middle with the blue lady, who's a huge bitch.
Yeah.
Correct.
Huge bitch.
Yeah.
Very, very far away one. We
Well,
don't
and,
wanna
and
go to.
attitude, not
Make
size.
not
You know.
right.
Yeah.
Well, do we know that?
No, it'd be awesome if she was.
Java?
Yeah, pretty much.
They don't.
Yeah.
Ita
don't like
chuto
romance.
solo.
uh,
You are a big blue lady.
orcs sound like fun.
Alright, so we're
Ogres.
going south then?
Wagon south. Damn it!
Alright,
Jump on a ship.
let's go see Jordan.
Fine.
Every time you say that in the country, I'm like, yeah, we'll liberate Jordan.
I think of Guitar Hero and Buckethead.
So you make your way to the docks
Somewhere.
to see Jordan.
One. Just
And you know he's on deck, making the final preparations to cast off. He's, you know, it's clear there's no longer cranes over the ship, and the gangplank is still up, but it's obvious the ship is prepared for journey.
We just roll
Hey,
it up.
can we
Don't
come
even read.
with?
I don't even ask, I just start
I'm
strolling
gonna tumble onto the deck.
Like Journey's playing.
I
on the
tumble
ship.
pretty well. Because I rolled a 15 and go, I have worn out my welcome here. Time to go.
He looks at you and he goes, and he looks at the rest. He goes, "My friends, welcome. What brings you here? I suspect I already know."
We're making ourselves welcome.
Jorgel says, the guy almost got himself killed. He's a real cocked it up now. I don't know why Jorgel has that accent. But I like it. It's kind of like a muddled British.
He's from the gutters of Britain.
It could be pikey. I just watched Snatch. Such a good movie.
Yeah, I always thought like this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So you guys are trying to get
We're gonna
permit.
get
You,
passage.
you want to travel with them? Of course. You know where the bunks
Canada.
are.
Gotta brew.
You are old friends. You're always welcome
Yeah.
aboard my vessel.
Dog.
We set sail in the next 20 minutes
Oh, we
before
just
the
made
sun
it.
fully sets.
Good timing.
The
Does he
sun
have
is
room-
just very much on
Does
this.
he have room for my
right.
camels?
Alas, my ship is not designed to carry
Go sell them quick.
beasts. However, go speak to the innkeeper.
Right.
He will hold them in his stables.
Alright. I'm gonna go to the innkeeper and you give him
Yeah,
some
I'm gonna need
camels,
to do that too.
along with all my sheep costumes
And the camel food.
and the camel food, and give him some money. However much money he needs, I guess.
No money's necessary.
Okay. Oh,
Friends
good.
of Jordan are friends of mine.
Okay. So I'm
Plus
taking
you.
Tiberius.
The
Perhaps when you
only
return,
partially
the
trained bird.
main room will be in better condition than you've left it.
We'll see.
Wasn't that great a place.
He's gonna sell your camels and all your chic outfits.
That's fine.
Just come back and he gives you just like a box with a turtle.
So as you guys get back to the ship, those of you who went to stow your animals, you know, Jordan never gets truly impatient. He's kind of a Marquez character where he's very patient and has a very mild temper, but it's obvious that he's waiting for you guys, kind of. And he's like, oh, welcome back. We're just about ready. And then he escorts, you know, as you guys get on board, he pulls up the gangplank himself and...
It's time to go.
All right, cast off!
I'm gonna go stand stoically at the bow with my loot falcon while it's nipping at me. Goddamn squab.
And you know, his crew, you know this already, but his crew is very, very skilled. They're very good at what they do.
I think I have notes.
They make their way out into the harbor, and you can see a ship that you would assume was the amount of information you'd been given from birds. I mean, C-Mak would know it's the right ship because he can actually speak with the animals, but is anchored, you know, a few piers down, a very large, deep water ship.
I could cast lightning bolts at that.
Is
What ship is this?
I have all the names here. Howler, Puck, Jordan, Sparrow, Timbers, Bassett, Zigzag, Suave and Salty, and Twitch.
Yep, that's his crew.
Uh-huh. And Zigzag, female, strong, willed. Yes. Seduce. Oh, yeah. 19. Whatever seduce is.
So as you leave the harbor, you know, it's night, so they're not traveling real fast, but they're still moving south down the coast. And from where you're at, you know, on the deck, you can tell that the city of Brandenburg itself, very large, but to the south, as you start traveling, it kind of becomes more farmland. You can see, like, lights and small windows on the coast, because you're traveling fairly close to the coast. After some time, you can see, you know, travelers' wagons with campfires burning. It very much a different feel to while you were crossing. Once you left, you know, or before you got to 8 Silos, where it's just war-torn hellscape. This is it appears very peaceful.
Where are you heading, good sir?
They're going to Port Barrington. That's where Jordan's crew is going.
We need to go to the Devil's Maw.
Ever hear of this demon mouth thing?
The Devil's Maw. We'll pass by. Perhaps you can get a view of it.
I think I got a note about Satan's butthole. Never mind.
That's
Same name.
Robot
Okay.
Station.
Inflamed and red.
Inflamed and red.
Stares you right in the eye.
Oh, yay.
Don't look too deep.
And as you travel further down the coast, the mountain range kind of comes in to meet the coast. You can still see that there's what those of you who have any knowledge of the terrain, you probably would just through general bar, is there is a trade road that runs along the coast in between the mountains, but it's very rough terrain and it's been carved out through the years. And then it's kind of cliffs down to the water. It's not a place where you just land and, you know, make port. And basically, Jordan likes talking about all the places he sails, so he's explaining to you that the next truly habitable place to stop in a safe harbor is Port Barrington, which is as you exit the mountainous terrain and kind of get back into the flatlands. It's a very much a it's a walled kind of almost fortress city. It's rough and tumble on kind of the frontier, a fairly regular hangout for mercenaries and not necessarily unsavory type, but the uncouth.
Fit right in.
You guys will.
Our people.
And you know, now it's completely night out. Jordan assures you that you guys you're not going to reach the Devil's Maw, so you guys can get the view of it until morning at the earliest, probably midday tomorrow.
I'm gonna stare awkwardly at the crew members because I have such a low charisma. I'm just trying to process what I'm gonna say to them.
I figured you took too long, so both my characters sleep.
Tomado's gonna go hit on Zigzag. Why not?
I'll watch you guys.
Not like overtly, but you know, just like make small talk with Zigzag. Why not?
He just goes and whips it out, just woo woo.
Helicopters, bitch!
Come hither, my love.
Tiberius flies down and perches on it. Ah!
Just oh!
Yeah. Such a strong grip! with talons. Jorgen will. I don't know. I'm gonna find someone to drink with. Why not?
There's probably someone who's not necessarily on duty in the small galley that
Yeah.
probably is in. These guys, they're basically good pirates, more or less. They're not.
Prison's horrible. What is
They're gonna be boozing.
It's
It's
mine
just a
too.
fact. They're just kind of good-natured
Yay.
scallywags. Now that you're out of port, he doesn't like to make it known that at times he's known to be not illegal arms, but he'll move weaponry because he doesn't want to be involved in like warmongering. So he basically has a shipment of blades and armor that he's bringing to Port Barrington from a blacksmith that was a previous order. And he's always been paid well because he does keep it on the down low. As to where the cargo comes from.
Does he have anything in cold iron?
Yes.
It's very mundane.
Okay.
That's what nobody
Just
likes it.
there's always a need for a blade or a shield in the city
That's
because
why
of
we
its
hate each
nature.
other
There's
because
always somebody who.
Keep it to myself.
Clash. Clerics are like, okay.
I don't agree with it, but I'll put up with it.
You don't agree with it, but you'll tolerate it, right?
I'll tolerate this. He's not being overtly bad.
Did he know anything about the Devil's Maw or Demon's Maw?
Basically, what you guys have shared about it.
Same.
What is that?
That it.
Steven.
What do you think?
You don't even
Nothing.
want to know. Sorry, I was very excited to. Basically, you get much of the same story that you've been getting everywhere. Is the tales say that it was once a famous mercenary camp. It became established as a very famous mercenary camp, and the mercenaries kind of traveled the world and helped the forces of good more than the forces of evil. It was a good group that would go to the aid when the price was right of various nations in strife. In fact, they even worked with the Church of Feronius from time to time.
Oh.
And over time, it kind of broke down. There was a lot of turmoil in the world. A lot of the forces were out, and there's rumors of like coups or just usurpers or things like that. But ultimately, it kind of over time broke down into more of a pirate base. And rumors are that the rumors in Brandonboro is that Port Barrington mustered a force that traveled there and wiped the pirates out because of trade. Rumors in Port Barrington is that Brandonboro mustered a force and wiped them out. No one really knows what the truth is.
Orcs.
It's the Sawagan.
It won't be Sawagan. I don't like Sawagan. I mean, I like them in situations, but
It's the lizard men. Yon T. That's who it is. Nothing but poison everywhere. Alright, so
The Draugr.
I'm going to bed. Night.
so
Thanks.
the night progresses uneventful, and by morning when you guys awake, there's breakfast ready for in the galley, and
So in other words, it's money.
those of you that make your way up to deck, it's obvious the ship has picked up speed. They're traveling. They're at full sail now and making better progress down the coast. The coast really hasn't changed. Still very rocky, and there's no obvious port. And on the horizon, by not quite midday, you can see an island just off the coast approaching, and Jordan points it out and says, "That will be the Devil's Maw."
Island is Devil's Maw?
We're gonna yell out to it. Odin.
I had a pit. I had a.
I took the map back because
Okay.
you weren't supposed to have that map.
Okay.
I just gave it to you, give you an example.
Yep.
I did not have a crudely drawn Rob map for you. I just had my final finished product. So
So I'll ask him how. If we want to go there, how would we get there?
he says, you'll see what the troubles are when we arrive.
Okay.
And as you begin to, the island begins to kind of swell on the horizon. He talks to whoever the helmsman, and I don't remember which one's the helmsman, but whoever the helmsman is, and the ship slows and dives for the channel in between shore and the island. And then you can begin to see this island, and the island itself is kind of half mooned, but the center section
Game of Phones?
is very rocky, and it looks like teeth emerging. It says this is why they call it the Devil's Maw. The entrance is treacherous for a ship.
Guess I'm walking.
We gotta ring into Jesus, right?
Yep.
We just
If I
Then
ask
all
them to
hands.
slow down a little bit so
Carry
I
it
can
one by one.
take a look around, would they be able to?
I was trying
We
to,
can.
like,
They,
grab onto you in
he'd
different
be
ways.
more than happy to stop the ship. They can anchor where they're at. They can anchor just off the maw. The water isn't ridiculously deep there. I mean, it's an extension of the land. And you're more than welcome to, you guys did him a solid, he'll do you a solid. He even suggests, if you feel that you must venture into the harbor itself, you could take the longboat in if you really wanted.
I don't need a boat. Just throw a rope overboard for me so I can climb back up. I'm gonna have my hawk kind of circle around.
Just turn
And
into
then-
a bird.
Oh, I'm gonna jump off the edge and wild shape into a shark
Oh, that works too.
and check out under.
There's a bigger shark.
Hey,
always a
turtle,
bigger
fuck
shark.
off.
So the ship anchors and they're preparing it. Everyone can roll a spot if you'd like.
Ugh.
8.
Fuck.
Wait.
Yeah. Wisdom based.
11.
25.
16.
I'm gonna use different
23.
dice. 'Cause The,
And 11.
the 6 and the 9 are right next to each other, and I don't
And they're not defined.
really know which one is.
24 and 23.
It's on the opposite side.
Oh, I don't remember now.
And they should add up. So it's 11. Should
The
add up to
opposite of
21.
the 6 should be. No, 6 is always 14 on the opposite, isn't it?
Opposite of 6 is a 15.
Yeah.
They add up to 21.
Not on mine.
15,
Mine are all
6,
20.
9,
I don't. I'm
Mine's
just,
21.
I'm just gonna roll this one.
Except for
I rolled a
19.
nat 1, so I don't
10,
see
11.
shit.
Those of you who rolled 15 will notice that on the right side of the island, which would be the north, but I think I drew the map differently. So we're going to say it's on the east side of the island. We're going to say you guys came sweeping in like this.
How is it possible for them to add up to 20 because you don't have a 0 on there? 20 and 1.
19 is opposite of 5 on mine, and 20 is opposite of 1.
So that's
But 3 is opposite of 17, and 2 is opposite of 18.
Get a
They
weird.
fucked it.
It's a weird D20.
yeah.
At any rate, those of you who rolled were better than a 15.
Not.
On the east end, you're looking at the opening to the harbor. On the east end, you can see just a small tower emerging, and those of you who rolled higher than 20 will note that there is a small light glinting in the window still.
They call for aid! Gondor calls for aid!
Everybody can roll a listen as well.
Here's why.
Ah. 18.
I did the fucking same. 8. I see in here of equal
4 and
compatibility.
27.
24.
Call it 9.
Everybody who
33?
rolled better than a 10, you can also, with the ship stop now over the breeze, you can also hear kind of a roar of water. As far as your hawk, making a quick loop of the harbor, you come in and it's a very open harbor. The water is very still inside. There is crumbled ruins on the shore with ancient dock sticking out. There is a vessel tied to one of the docks, and there's a waterfall to the west of the city.
Beautiful.
Let's go.
To the longboat. All 12 of us.
Oh, we're actually
In
going?
heavy armor.
1 or 2 first level spells and 1 second level spell.
Do I notice anything as I'm swimming under the?
Just that the water does get fairly shallow, although in the very center, it's you could get a ship in, but you'd have to have a very talented sailor to get the ship in.
Or a shark guide. We could fashion like a ribbon to your fin. I could follow you.
And the entrance of the cove is littered with just sharp rocks, kind of jutting up, giving the kind of vague presence or appearance of a beast's maw.
Well, when I make my way back, I'm just gonna let him know all that.
I communicate to you in an effective and meaningful way. I'm gonna ask, sir, how many days may you anchor here while we venture into the unknown of the devil's / human's mouth orifice?
Well, given the information that C-Mak brought back, that there is a safe passage, as long as when you guys go in with longboat, you can figure out that it is safe, there isn't going to be some enemy force on shore, he'll actually anchor here and wait for you for at least a couple of days. Just to ensure he doesn't want to abandon you here.
And send the hawk back. I don't know. If the hawk comes back with nothing, flee for your lives, or it's in trouble. If the hawk comes back with a...
Well, he said we can position ourselves in a manner where we can see
No,
the shore at the very least.
here goes my idea.
And since you guys have asked for the longboat, they go about, getting it out and preparing it. Kevin's taking his drugs over here.
Yep. Don't do drugs, kids.
Or do.
Yeah.
What drugs are you gonna take?
Just limit the amount.
What drugs you on?
It's just ibuprofen.
Oh man, drugs. They're hell of drugs.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
As we're going in there, I'm going to keep an eye on the window that I saw the light in.
There's just there continues to be a sparkle in there. By the time the longboat has been brought up on deck and it has lowered into the water, it's not night, but it's afternoon.
Be like, okay, I see why you have to pay. Now
Should
you're
we
sharing.
wait through the night and see if we see any light on the shore?
Where it seemed like
Somebody
on
saw
top
light.
of the tower.
I mean, like fire campfires or anything like that.
Nah,
Give
I'll just go trompsis to the woods. Fuck that.
do it.
any sort of
There's ruins to the shore.
population.
Murder hobo mode
Here
activate.
I go killing again.
Murder hobo mode activate.
Alright,
Women, children, I don't care.
I
I
know.
just love killing.
are we piling in the longboat yet?
Yeah, you can pile in the longboat.
No.
So you pile in the longboat and start making your way in, and once you get through the mouth, what would be the maw, through the rough rocks, the water immediately smooths out and it's a lot easier for you guys to row your way in.
Okay.
And as you approach, I'm assuming you're going to approach the beach. It's kind of cliffy where the waterfall's coming down, and then there's the beach where the ruined city kind of is.
Yeah.
As you approach the docks, it's very obvious that this city was abandoned long ago.
The ship is in very bad.
The docks that are jutting out are pretty crumbling. Though the vessel appears seaworthy though. And
How big of a vessel is it?
It's large.
Stars now.
Not necessarily like a full war galley, but close.
Can 10 people man this ship?
Yeah, you could. I mean, it's going to be rowed, but
You gotta learn how to do ship stuff.
Wainwright?
on as you approach the shore, of note to the druid and the rangers would be that there's moss on most of the buildings, but it's very, very dark.
Gross.
It doesn't appear like a natural, like a green. It's almost blackened. Very similar to that which you saw on your way to House Feldaria.
Black mold.
And as you approach
Living moss.
the docks,
It's gonna knock at least
you can see
$4,000
the
off
ship
price.
better. And it's decorated with skulls and bones of various humanoid creatures.
Ooh,
Tasty.
it's very feng shui.
Just yell out, "Hello!"
Are there any evil creatures on board?
I see you have my taste in decorages.
I'm gonna detect evil out of that ship.
You don't detect any evil actually in the area.
I'm gonna detect magic.
I'm gonna light an arrow.
You gotta
and
cast a
shoot
spell
it.
to do that.
I did that. I could do that.
We'll light an arrow and shoot it with the ship.
I detect the magics.
Detect the magic.
I may have worked on some maps for this. You guys are gonna be here a while. I'm just gonna point that out.
Yay! I'm
Oh,
in
boy.
time. Enough to get a tan. The elves tan.
You could.
They can.
Half elves can tan.
I suppose, yeah.
Jordan just leaves us right here.
So I'm assuming you guys are going to pull up onto the shore. And,
Well, we're not
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
pull out if that's what you mean.
Never.
No
Pull
magic.
up. We got our trap music playing.
Fitty wop.
so you guys are down on the docks. There are 3 docks standing, or you're on the beach near the docks.
I suppose we'll make
Um,
a time
deal.
for both of us.
The boat you're probably better off pulling up,
Pulling it up on the shore.
pulling up onto the shore.
Alright.
The dock closest to where you've landed it's still there, but it's very clear that it's not something you're going to want to walk on. The next dock over is where the large warship is docked, and that's in a little bit better condition. And then the furthest dock has actually crumbled away in a lot of spots.
I'm gonna try until we walk up to the
Just
warship.
say, can we go with the ship? See what's going on up there.
As you approach it, it's a small war galleon, from appearances.
Newer, worn.
Magic.
It's fairly evident that it's been used recently, but not necessarily like yesterday. There are, some trunks in it.
Gangplank down.
Gangplank's down, yes.
Alright.
While they're doing that, I'm just gonna look for tracks around outside.
I'm gonna cut loose the ship. Push.
Do any of these trunks glow?
None of the trunks glow.
Can you turn into a whale?
One time I used
Not yet.
magic.
Damn it.
Medium and
shit
large
on.
sized.
As far as tracks, the ground is pretty, once you get off the beach proper, is pretty solid. But on the beach itself, you can see that
No,
many, not like tons, but 20 plus humanoids move through. Some medium, some large, moving further inland into the city.
Did you,
This is an Orcan ogre vessel.
Mm.
wait, did you say fucktopus?
Orkin.
Okay, right.
we're not the
We're
only
not
ones
watching
here.
that anime right now.
A Gorger? It's a Gorger ship.
I'm just waiting for you guys.
I'm gonna tentatively, Jordan gonna unsheath his, he's gonna draw his, heavy mace
Okay.
and, start leading the way with Commodore right behind him, going up the gangplank, kinda looking around.
Gangplank.
Given your knowledge of vessels, everything is pretty open. It's just a large flat bottom
Any
boat with
colors
oars.
flying? Any...
No colors
I don't know
flying
what's
other
going on
than the
right now,
just
guys. I
random
rolled a 17. Wait, what?
skulls and such, and then the
Turn them into hand puppets.
provision boxes, I guess you could call them, that are placed scattered haphazardly upon the deck.
I'm gonna call for our rogue, or whoever has the abilities to check traps on this. This may be booby trapped to blow up the vessel.
Everybody just rogue. Up, 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 up.
Just pass
Alright.
them up over our heads.
I look for.
Traps.
I look it over.
While you're up there looking for traps, I'm gonna throw a rock up there with you.
Nice.
We all die. 27.
27, you search the, I'm assuming you're searching the deck where you guys are stepping on.
Yes.
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Rogue gives me the thumbs up. I'm gonna open up the chest.
Alright.
The chests.
Mimic. Wow.
Inside the chests are kind of just, kind of unidentifiable dried meats
there,
and
Rogue,
There's-
this one.
There's provisions.
Check
On
this
this
for
ship.
traps.
That means
they
it's-
are technically provisions. This is true.
Are they meats of a questionable nature?
Yeah, it's
Maybe human meats?
it could be. Some of them might be.
Rogue, taste them.
Let's start making our way below deck.
There is no below deck on it. It's
Oh,
it's a big flat bottom.
Oh,
Like it's not a true
like a
war
Viking
galleon
ship?
like
Okay.
a royal, but
Glass
it's
bottom
a
boat.
small version of that.
okay. No, okay. Alright.
Glass bottom boat.
There's no colors or anything like that. No captain's quarters or anything.
This one. I walk off.
I want to
Put a
take
hole in the bottom.
the meat and hide it.
On you.
Okay, where do you want to hide it?
Dump it over the edge.
I don't know. We can do that.
We should put the rogue in the chest so if they come back,
Surprise, y'all! Stab, stab!
My favorite trap.
Actually, no. I'm gonna leave the meat there. I decided that it's best to know if we
Fucking
get. Well,
goblin.
I guess the boat will alert them that someone else has been here.
Yeah.
I thought about just in case they tried to flee, we could really fuck with them. But the other city's not that far away.
We only got a couple days here, so we can't sit around too long.
All right.
Put a hole in the bottom of it.
I'm gonna leave it there. It's done.
All right.
Back to the ruins. Did you find anything? There's like 20 people, you said?
Humanoid tracks.
As you're leaving the
Humanoids from
ship, roll a
20-ish.
spot. Everybody who searched the ship.
I don't think I searched it. I don't know.
I just.
I was looking for
Sure,
traps.
why not?
Or
20.
not tracks.
I looked for magic.
16 and 12.
6, 15,
21.
30.
And terrible.
30.
I'm a half elf and I sunk all my points into this shit.
Same.
Guy,
No. Suck.
you definitely see
Where's your elf I see?
where the next dock would have been.
Jesus.
You can just as the water kind of moves, you can see just
Strong vibrator.
what would appear to be potentially like masts of a sunken vessel.
Yeah, there's sunken ships over there. Maybe.
Where?
He points to it.
Yeah. I'm not very good
On the
at
next
talking.
dock over, the one that crumbled away.
I'm not very good at communicating my words.
Yeah, you are.
I wasn't
Ship,
listening
yes,
to you.
please.
Ship there. in
Water.
Iowa.
Very busy.
Sunken ships in water.
That tends to be where sunken ships are, yes.
Weird.
The ships technically sink if they're on land.
That's why.
That's what we can sink in sand.
Quicksand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the land shark.
They could sink in the water and then over time, the water.
Yeah. Playing the long game. Lake that wasn't there anymore.
Or the short game if you're in Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Most of Western Asia is just disappearing lakes.
Yep.
Some of Africa as well.
I don't know. I think it's like Tanganyika. is the one that's going away.
There's a lot of lakes that are just disappearing.
Mhm.
Where it's just like
That will cause any problems eventually.
No.
you can see there's pictures where it's like the ferry dock, which is like here, and then the dry ground down here, where the lake has just receded that much.
Too many peoples.
I'm assuming somebody has a light source. I mean, you glow.
Yeah.
Sure, that's gonna be great.
These are obviously
On my light sorting.
they've been underwater for some time.
Sweet, Echo. Let's start making our way. I'm gonna start making my way into the.
I'm not gonna search the ship.
We did.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna talk to one.
Yeah, get down there.
Find
Give me the
ship
ring.
And water. Go.
Don't toss the
We
dwarf.
had this discussion. The ring of the Jesus allows you to walk on water, not breathe underwater. And therefore, if you can walk on water, does that mean you can step down into water? Can you use it like stairs? And we said no.
When you put it on, it's like a dolphin.
Why not? You can
But
use
could I
air
step
walk
up
down.
out of the water?
It lets you just. Apparently, you just shoot up
Yeah.
Which is fine, because then I could get out of there real fast.
and get the bends.
If you put it on and you jump off the edge of the ship, you just.
But I'm at a dock, so I don't have to
Yeah.
really worry about the bends.
Well, it's not like you're jumping into 500 feet of water.
Yeah.
You're jumping into, where the docks are, like 20 feet of water.
Then you just
You'll
hop
shoot
to the
up,
top
you'll
like
do
a
it on
bobber.
purpose.
Like,
Nope. Nothing down there, guys.
Alright, hey, you want to go do that? You
Sure.
got the ring of the Jesus.
Thanks.
I want it back.
Yep, you'll get it back.
I lost it in the water.
Are you keeping it on? Or are you,
Not right now. I put it in my.
So are you staying fully armored and
Yeah,
going for a
of
swim?
course.
That way you
I
just
gotta get to the
shoot
bottom.
back
Shoot
up.
it.
How long can you hold your breath for? That's based on Constitution, isn't it?
Yes.
A long time, probably.
You can remain underwater for rounds equal to twice your Constitution score.
32 rounds.
times 6 seconds each round. A minute.
No, that's like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a decent amount of time.
Alright, go.
Alright. Can I borrow your sword?
No.
Come on, buddy.
you're gonna get lost down there forever.
No.
He just
no.
waits
Alright,
for us
Chloe
to go.
sword.
Thank you.
all right. So you have a light sword, and you're jumping in with your armor on.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So you sink like a
Ooh.
rock, and once you're down like 10 feet, you're on the deck of clearly an ancient ship. There's fish that are just like freaking out because this weird thing has just hit, and it's covered in it's clear that this isn't like it sank last week. This isn't even like it sank last year. This is like it's been down here for 100 years.
Barnacles.
And is it
But the ship structure itself is still
pretty solid?
there.
Treasure.
Yeah, that's what I would say. Is there a way below deck, or is it in pieces?
There's a door.
Going for it.
He's gonna
It's gonna take
water
you about
run.
3 or 4 rounds to get over there.
Okay.
And you've been down for a round already, so you're
Alright,
at 5.
So 5. Okay.
You have
Sonic had
36?
human teeth.
Huh?
You have 36?
Yeah. 32.
32. Okay.
So you make your way over to the door.
Yeah. I should ask the druid for water breathing. Probably.
Well, you can just swim down there.
I mean,
Well, I mean, I wasn't gonna suggest it, but I don't know if it's in his
Put
spell
the
list
ring
yet.
back
But
on, shoot up and go, hey Drew, I need water breathing.
It's true. I have just started. I'll do that.
I don't know if it's in your spell list at this level.
It's one of my 3rd level spells.
Shoots. Water sprays everywhere.
I wish I would work like
Does he
steps.
go like flying in the
Yeah, he
air and
basically
then he
becomes
has
a
to land?
torpedo. We thought about putting a helmet on him and like using him to sink ships or stuff like that.
Well, that would have been. I like that idea.
No, I'll cast water breathing on you.
Yay! Thanks. You
Friggin'
want
land.
to
Alright.
come down with me too?
Yeah, you just gotta hold on to him.
This be a shark. It was just a
Turn
shark.
into
He
a
was just a start.
Actually, I'm gonna
or an octopus.
cast water breathing on you. Walk into the water. Octopus. Bloop.
Octopus.
Yeah,
Or
octopi.
octopi is smart.
Just hang on your shoulder.
All right. So you make your way back down to the
Ooh.
door.
I'm going.
The door is
water
stuck.
breathing for
The
14
door
hours.
is. Oh, 14 hours. I'm good.
Yeah, I think you'll be all right.
I'm gonna take the light sword and kind of.
The door is. I mean, it's. You could probably crush it away, or you could just try to muscle your way through it, given the fact that
Yeah, I'll muscle.
it's not. It's not like you're dealing with locks here. I'll just put it that way. Locks long since you ain't picking a lock.
Yeah.
However, you could try to just strength your way through it if you'd like.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Oof.
11.
When you hit it, it moves, but it doesn't actually swing.
Mm.
It just
Okay.
you kind of shifted it in a little bit.
Oh, I'm gonna hit that again. Oh God, please don't destroy everything. Okay, good. 6.
It doesn't do anything this time.
Gotta try a little harder.
Just kind of. Oh yeah, there. Yep. 23.
And then you hit it again, and the door just kind of breaks free from its hinges and falls inside.
The whole thing collapses on you.
And
No!
floats down.
The light you can see, but not very far. You've turned up a lot of debris and soil inside, so it's not like you can see a long ways.
I should have just taken a 10. Done it easily.
I'm just kind of chilling on your head right now.
Okay, I'm fine with that. Moving
With
forward.
your extra long tentacle.
You're just gonna
wrapped
kinda
around
just
his
poke
head
around?
twice.
Yeah.
Whispering octopus
Um,
stuff in his ears.
You know, like.
Take a tentacle and just tickle it inside of his ear with it.
I've seen
There is a
You can't try to know this is going.
there's a stairwell that leads down, and then ahead of you can see a ruined door and kind of leads to a cabin that once you make your way in there and poke around it's just ruined shit.
Yeah. Hope it's not. It's like.
Nothing lower?
You could go down if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll go down.
As you go down at the bottom of this, you find it goes into a hallway with a door on either side, more or less.
I always want to go left, so right.
All right, to the right, there is that door. It opens. It doesn't. It's not even stuck. It's just that crumbly. It just kind of swings open, and while there's nothing, as far as like hammocks and such, it's what you would expect kind of a crew quarters to look like.
Okay.
On the back side of it, you can see another door.
Ooh. Go to that door.
All right. The door on the far side is still intact and is also fairly stuck.
Okay. Can I
You
work
can-
at it without knocking the entire door off the hinges?
Search the integrity of
You
the
can
rest of
you
the
can
room.
just bash the door up if you want.
Yeah, I'll
you're
do
not. You're not, the ship isn't in such poor shape. Like nature has reinforced it to an extent that the whole boat is not going to crumble on you.
I suppose.
Or you just
24.
like,
Oh, you totally burst that door. And on the other side is it's just a cavern. It just goes into darkness because you can't see through the shit.
Hmm. Tavern, huh?
That's the last of the saw robot.
No, it's
cavernous.
it's part of the ship,
Right.
but it's just a very
It opens
open
up.
space.
Yeah.
Cargo hold with all the treasure.
That's what I was thinking.
go octopus.
I suppose there's no holes in it, so I'll just move forward.
As you're moving through there, you can start, you can see old crates and barrels in the hold.
100-year-old rum thing.
Mm.
Put the ring on it and it'll just go.
I don't think that's how that works.
And then how am I getting out?
It'll
So I
shoot
hold on to it.
Yeah.
I didn't put the ring on it.
And then you go back down.
Torpedoes through the
Yeah.
roof
Could I
of the
read anything
ship.
on them? Like I scream at the barrels.
Anything that would have been written on them has long since disappeared.
Doesn't feel like there's anything in.
That if there is, there's water in them.
Well, well,
True.
None of them are floating up near the ceiling.
okay. I was just wondering if there's like metal kind of clinking. Just
No, nothing like that.
Probably spoiled provisions.
I'll move back further. See if there's anything back towards the back.
More. You continue to find, barrels and crates.
Okay. No chests. No.
Nothing that appears to be a chest.
All right. Guess I'll go back to that other door.
Roll a spot.
Oh, great. Yay. Yep.
C-Mak's gonna whisper octopus things in your ear.
Put a sucker on your
27.
Octopus Man on the far end of the ship. You can tell that the wall just doesn't look like the rest of the ship. It hasn't aged the same in the water on the back end of the hold.
We're like one tentacle, slap, slap. I'm gonna swim over to there.
Okay. Heading over that way.
All right.
It's a wizard one.
What is that? Where the fuck did you come from?
when you get there, the wall is all worn, and then there's just the one panel that was obviously better protected. It was better weathered.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That isn't rotting away in the middle of it.
That looks weird. Guess I'm gonna try and.
As soon as you touch it, it'll just kind of fall in and reveals a room beyond.
Ooh. Let's
Meanwhile,
go.
we're up top, just
We're just chilling. Like, how long can we
Lay
hold
on
the
the
breath?
beach.
Make like a
I'm on
fire.
vacation.
Send my little fucking caca.
I'm gonna go
Inside
hunt
the
some
room,
food.
there are 2 chests.
Oh,
There's woods around us.
Oh, is there?
I don't want to die.
If only I could talk in
I assume we're-
animal form, just
No, yeah.
finders keepers.
squirt some ink out.
Shine right within on the wall.
I'm gonna take the sword and try to poke at one of them.
Smears it.
Although the chests, they have some barnacle growth and stuff on them,
Mm-hmm.
it hits very solid.
Okay.
They're obviously, they didn't age as
Grab 'em.
extremely as the other things within the ship have.
Okay. I just didn't want to get attacked by it.
Yeah.
Mimic dead.
Mimic in the water! Come on!
Feels like he gets attacked by a mimic, you just see an octopus come flying out of the water. Just
And a jet of black streaming behind it.
Oh man.
This comedian's top response to the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer. I'd like to formally announce that I'm no longer a furry.
Can I pick him up?
You can say he's furious.
One of them weighs about 25 pounds. The other one is pretty heavy. It weighs like 87-ish pounds.
Okay. I'm gonna stack them. Carry him out to that turn off where there was 2 doors.
Yep.
I'm gonna go in the other door.
The other door opens fine. Opens pretty easily.
Okay.
And if you were a guessing man, you'd guess that a captain's quarters of some
Perfect.
sort. It has the built-in bed. Like the frame is still there. The wooden frame of it is still there.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, the wood on the hull is cracked here, and it's obvious that animal life has been in and out of this particular section pretty heavily.
We'll look around and see if there's a key maybe for one of the chests. See if there's something in one of the cubby holes. Or...
Given the fact that you have as much time as you pretty much want, you rifle around in the room for quite some time and find nothing really. I mean, everything is crumbly and garbage. There's nothing really worthwhile.
Okay.
Is there Mountain Dew over there?
There is behind C-Mak.
Okay. I think
Pass them this way. I will eat them. I will eat them all.
I was well on my way there.
Roll it. Shake it up. Roll it.
fire in the hole.
Precious ranch dust.
Alright. Since I couldn't find anything,
Nothing useful, no.
Baby nose. Baby bubble.
and this was the only entrance into the ship.
Yes.
Alright. I'll
Everything else is long since decayed. And
I'll make some sort of sign. Be like,
Did
did you see anything else towards you? Just like,
And snorted the dust up my
I know you
buffalo.
can't talk, but Because I'm like, fucking blind. I don't know.
You're flavor intense.
You can't see me.
All right, I'll see the. I'll
This is
take
weird.
thing.
It's typical Tuesday.
I'll go to the top, shoot a sword.
When I burp, I taste it. I don't know how that works.
Take the ring. Kind of just. Try to drop it on my hand while I'm holding my chest.
Oh god.
Drop, gone.
Or
No!
you could have the octopus put it on
Bring
your
it
So
head.
you guys get to watch a robot rocket surface
Robot rocket.
holding two chests like this.
An octopus on his head.
And an octopus on his head.
Look what I found, guys!
Want something?
Was it a rough landing? Did
Oh,
you have
yeah.
to roll in acrobatics to
Sure, why not? Let's see. Oh,
He's
Tumble?
fine.
dex based?
He doesn't even fall over.
You launch the chest.
He
and
lands
just
like a
crack on the
superhero.
surface.
with
Yeah, but
one
not-
knee bent?
Were you by the dock when you went overboard, or you just walk into the wall, like land?
I just jumped out.
I'm gonna reach over the dock and try and grab the chest from you. Look what I found!
No!
Haul you up on the dock.
So eventually you take the time, get the chest up, get Captain Wet out of the water. I don't know if the octopus man is staying in the water, but
No, I'm shifting back to.
Oh, you're still on my head?
Yeah.
Well, you breathe under the water for a while. You'll be okay.
you hand the chest away and he shifts and just like, oh!
Are you a human?
Yeah.
Okay.
Get off me.
Wait, when you shift back, do you keep your clothing?
Mhm.
Yep. Okay.
Everything is
naked.
Guess what?
No!
Oh, it's in my ear.
Not again!
Surprise!
Everything that's part of the druid is considered part of the shiftable.
Okay.
Or on the druid, I guess.
Well, yes.
Alright, let's open these up.
So
I couldn't find
good.
any keys
Just
down
like
there
it's in
or
the
anything,
phone
so
because
here's your sword.
Thank you.
wearing a ring
Here's your
and
ring.
part of the bear. Huh?
Here's your ring.
Thank you. We're prying these puppies open. They're locked.
Kevin's sword.
They're
They're
locked.
locked.
Alright.
I couldn't find the key, so.
Instead of Kevin giving Kevin's sword back, he just lost it. Okay, everyone goes over.
I don't hate Kevin.
Fuck this guy in particular.
I hate his lion, but I don't hate
So I
him.
fail the first time. Can I just take the time to do it?
You can all take 10 or take 20 as long as you guys are willing to spend the time doing so.
Well, he's doing that and
I'll
Philly
take
fucking
20.
around. I'm gonna go start like watching the woods or stuff like
Make
that.
like a fire or something?
I did.
You made a fire?
I mentioned that I was gonna make a fire,
I'm gonna go check out the waterfall.
and then he was talking about how he was gonna hunt in the woods.
I want to know what we got. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll roll.
It's a very impressive waterfall where
I didn't
more or
know
less you're on the beach and the city kind of goes up and the
my
terrain
feeble
grows
attempts
to the
at fire
towards the
making in
mountains.
real life.
So it's just cliffs and there's just a river and it's where it empties into the. It's a very impressive.
So the clip, like the beach is in like a bowl, like kind of like a bowl kind of area. Like, does that like open up into like?
All of your answers will be, or all your questions will be answered soon as far as how it's set up.
Okay.
Very soon.
We get like the crazy old guy on the beach. Ah, I've been here for years.
You see, see a
So
lobster just grow up. And
you guys are kind of watching.
God damn it.
You know, the sun is beginning to set. It's starting to get a little bit darker out. And Mark gets the first chest open.
What's
What's
in
in
it?
it?
Nothing.
Unlock again.
Dead
I'm
bodies.
just kidding. No.
Bones
Um,
of dead people.
Okay, then I move on to the next chest.
Swim.
The cleric opens it and takes like rifles through it.
The chest is filled mostly with coins, and there's a handful of gems in there as well.
Sweet treasure.
Gems?
I'm gonna detect magic on that.
There's nothing magical.
Okay. Just checking.
Ross, are you ready with your loot list?
Yeah.
Also of note, the mintage, while not as clearly ancient as the other mintage of the coins, is definitely old mintage.
Old,
150 platinum pieces.
Old, second.
Holy
Old.
Not as old as the last
Old
place we
sunken
went,
ship.
but old.
Yeah.
It's not
Unknown.
an unknown.
It's not
Pre-
Kingdom Under
pre-
the Sandal.
It's not
150 platinum?
cataclysm
Okay.
events. 150 platinum. 393 electrum.
fancier version.
Okay. No.
912 gold. It's a mix of gold and platinum.
Yeah.
Less valuable than
912 gold.
Platinum.
Okay.
2,078 silver.
Platinum.
this is the heavy chest.
This was the heavy chest.
Makes sense.
78 silver.
2,612 copper.
200
Stuff that in the ocean.
Not 20,000.
Copper.
Copper.
Don't need that.
Okay.
In aquamarine.
Okay.
A carnelian.
Okay.
A fire opal.
Okay.
And an iot light.
Iot, spell it.
IOTLITE. And you can put DM3 by all of this.
I'll just put, I have them separated. So mintage, old hand, D. Enter. Right. D enter.
Run DM3.
C-Mak, the second chest. Or C-Mak, sorry, C-Mak. Mark, the second chest takes you a little bit less time. You get luckier a little bit quicker.
Okay.
And you pop it open.
What's inside?
And inside it's filled with just like crumbles of wet, soppy paper.
Aw.
Can I identify the language on the paper?
The language, I mean, if you're just gonna grab a scrap and look at it,
Sure.
it's in common. Likely, no, it's nothing that you can directly read. There's not large enough chunks, and it's kind of faded with time.
Okay.
Is it
Is it wet?
There's 9 of us
So it's
total.
very wet.
Okay.
There's 9 of us total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, no,
One
you.
has 2 people.
Mark has 2 people, but you only have 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 9 total. Okay. Everybody gets.
Divide it up when you're done with this whole.
Yeah, just so that we
Okay.
take it, so we don't have to lump it together and leave it.
In the very bottom
Stomach
is
herpes.
a ring sitting down in the bottom of it.
Wake up to some
Okay.
random hooer.
Where did detect magic on that?
The ring also glows with magic.
Put
Okay.
it on. What does it do?
Yeah.
Yeah, put it on.
Give it to me. I'll put it on.
No. Let him put it on.
Yeah, let him put it
I
on.
want to see this. Hey, do it.
I will put it in my pocket.
I can identify it
I'll
too.
put it on.
And actually, is anyone still there? Did everybody else have
No,
we
we're
stuff?
freaking
we're
waiting.
there. We're waiting
Oh,
for
okay.
you.
Yeah, as
Wait-
soon as you
wait
open
for
the chest, I was
4
just
hours
like
or
knocking
what?
you out of the way.
Just give me the ring. I can identify it. So identify the ring.
You're gonna use identify on the ring.
Yeah,
Are you sure you want to use?
I have 7 of the gems.
Yeah, I'm just.
All right, well fine.
I mean, if you want to, you're more than welcome to. I'm not
I'm
saying
gonna
you need
take
to.
the DM hit and say I'm not gonna identify that.
Okay,
I'm
hold
just-
on to it.
I'm just saying that it's. You should probably wait for a little bit until you start getting a collection, and then pick and choose what you want to identify.
We'll do that.
Given the fact that
That's
you
a good
got
point.
limited.
Yeah.
So Mark can just put it on and see what it does.
And then what we don't identify, we can use and see what it is.
So that means that we should let Mark
Curse
use this
ring.
ring.
Instant fireball on yourself.
See, this is what I was trying
Whole
to
party
find
dead.
out. I was hoping it was cursed.
Was there anything else that-
The funny thing about that is
below the paper?
ring on
Okay.
fireball self on a road.
Is the
you could
paper
still
something that
evade
if I
it.
let it dry out, you can read it, or is it
It's.
too far gone?
I mean, you could potentially read parts and pieces of it, but nothing that would be worthwhile.
Okay.
I mean, you're putting together, 500 puzzles, 500 piece puzzles that all the pieces have been mixed together and run through a washing machine.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Push
just done
it
with that.
back in.
If we did anything with that, it would be worthwhile maybe to send it to the Telkis, but even then, I'm not looking at chest around.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna close the chest and just
Push it back in.
leave it.
Just let it sit there. Kind of pour the water out.
Take a piece and I
Bring
I
it back
look
to
at a
Jordan.
guy.
Here's something to do while we're busy.
There you go.
flop it at you, and you're like, here you go. You get some loot too. I'm just kidding.
I can't carry it.
No, I take like a piece of wet paper.
Yeah, I can't carry that.
It's too much weight.
It is.
He's at maximum.
Just come off as a complete asshole to you, and it's fine. I'm just kidding.
So, that's where you guys are at right as of this moment.
He checked out the waterfall, said it was cool.
It was pretty.
I was just sitting on the beach waiting for you guys.
I'm sipping my
You're not
time.
on vacation.
I think I took a nap.
Oh, we know. Okay.
Let's go into the city.
Margarita, there you go. I don't know.
Wasting away in Margaritaville. Anyways.
You're gonna make your way into the city.
Are we walking fast?
As you enter the city, you can see, you know, the rooms, all the buildings are pretty much crumbled. They're covered in the, you know, a black mold and moss kind of on them. Very reminiscent of the forest south of House Veldaria.
I don't trust this mold.
He's
I
gonna
poke it with my
make me a
sword.
sandwich.
Is
It
this like
doesn't
the new
respond.
Resident
I
Evil?
poke it with my sun rod.
If we eat a slug, does that turn us?
And as you come to the first corner, you can see,
Gotta see things.
you know, ahead, like a couple blocks over, a building that appears, you know, it's still standing kind of tall and true. It still has windows,
It's moldy.
and the walls are still standing. And through the windows, you can see light.
Rogue,
Go to it.
sneak up there.
I'll just walk up there and knock on the door.
What if a vampire?
All right,
isn't-
guys
I
walking
guess I'm
towards it.
following Guy.
Guy, as you approach through the windows, you can see people singing, dancing,
That's not
Drinking.
weird at all.
children playing.
Yep.
It's
Don't go
clearly
in
a
there.
tavern.
Don't go in there.
Hey,
That's
hey,
bad.
hey,
I'd
hey,
detect evil.
let's hold on.
Take evil at
Let's
this
hold
thing.
on.
Wait, he's,
No
he's going
evil.
up there.
I went with him. I said I
Don't
went
go in
with
there.
him. I'm like,
Okay.
no, hold on.
He's with me.
Hold
It's a
on.
goddamn succubus.
Doesn't need to be
And
evil in there.
As
It's
you
an
guys
illusion.
get closer to it, you can hear the murmur of people inside and, you know, chatter. You can't make out the actual talk, but
Oh,
it's
boy.
clear that there's people talking inside of it.
Bang on the door.
Is it a door or is it like a tavern like
It's got a door on
This
it.
isn't the old west.
Let's go.
Get your spurs on.
No, I'm just gonna open the door.
We don't take kindly to your tavern.
I'm a weary traveler.
As you open the door,
Roll a fort save.
For both of us.
everybody would be able to see this that's still outside, but the light disappears, the scene inside disappears. Instead, inside, there's just one lone figure standing by the bar.
Oh
Your
god.
worst nightmare.
Oh Jesus.
I'm
He wears white robes and roll an intelligence check.
Is it just robot in there or guy? Guys
Just
in there?
guy.
Oh, good.
I was next.
He's behind him, but
I guess behind him now since he's opening the door.
yeah, 20.
you note the robes are inscribed with markings that would be the symbols of Pelor. He's facing away from you
Not evil.
towards the bar, and is unmoving.
This is more my territory.
Hey,
You barge.
Does he know I'm there?
Go. Wait.
Obviously.
Take me.
Don't know.
Okay.
I know you're there. I watched you walk in there.
Well, I'm gonna stand there. I'm kind of like side eye him. I'm just kind of. But I'm gonna do it like this, like.
I crouch as I'm
Waiting.
coming. I'm crawling.
How
I'm
much
crawling.
Jordan just sitting outside watching this? Like, my
I'll go up there.
All right,
I'll enter.
Kevin, you're in the building.
My paladin holy aura is
We're gonna have a one-on-one time with
It's
your god.
glowing.
just radiating around me.
Prepare God boner. Here it comes.
Yep.
I'm just standing there,
rage.
kind of in the doorway, but enough in the room to where if something happens, I'm right there with him.
Do I see if there's a back
Does
entrance?
this guy look familiar?
Yeah.
Do I recognize
You
him?
don't recognize him. All you could see is his back.
It's a muscly.
Are you sure you don't recognize him?
Does he look tense?
You're starting to travel around the building to see if there's.
I'm gonna come and walk up, stand in the doorway with Guy.
I noticed you're wearing a robe of Pelor.
I've come from the
Can I
heavens.
help? with
What'd
the
you take?
look?
So you're
That robe of
standing,
Pelor
you know, just
on the
inside.
floor.
Interestingly enough, well, while you're inside the building, the structure inside as well is.
Joe the night right
The
there.
building
Oh, that's a
appears
good one.
very sound. There's tables. They're empty, but there's tables. There's a bar. You know, there's a fireplace. Nothing, no fire in it, but
Ask him why the illusion, old man.
No, this comes off as disrespectful. If it's a god.
I don't know if it's an illusion.
Maybe we see what we want to see as we're walking up to the building.
I would
Why
have
would
seen
you wanna
something
see
far
Floor?
different.
No, not when we go in. When we're walking up.
But why would you want? Oh, okay.
We all saw the same thing.
Did we? Yeah, I was the only one that walked up there. You guys were just behind me.
But we all saw the lights and everything and heard the sounds.
We did, yeah.
everybody saw the same thing through the windows.
You wouldn't want to see if that was the case. You wouldn't want to see Jargon.
Drunk dwarven orgy going on in there.
Pretty much.
Which one are the women? Which one are the men?
Doesn't
No
matter.
one
Beards
cares.
on everyone!
Well, they're all men.
Fooled you!
Jargon was gay.
Penises all around.
Sausage is
So
tangy.
And this is why he stays with Paladin.
you're standing inside the bar.
It's a catcher.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Quite
holy,
angry
I'm gonna
most
holy
things.
aura, and, like, just
Pretty.
like present my full paladin.
Call-
Like I can't
So
actually
that was-
activate
Right.
it or anything.
Right.
Paladin would be a
But you're going to try to be very
Paladin
I'm gonna be-
paladinly.
Yeah.
This one's just
Right
Hail,
in his
follower
face,
of Palor.
and maggots are running out of it.
He doesn't respond.
Not at all. No movement.
No movement.
Like not even like there's wind or anything. Is there any wind in the building?
No. The building is actually incredibly still.
I stage whisper. Touch him!
I'm gonna sit next to him.
He just walked
Okay,
Just walk up there.
guy,
and sit
as you approach him because he's standing by the bar, you get about 10 feet away, and he turns around, and he's not an old man, but he's an older man, and he begins to speak. Glory be to Pelor, he sent us saviors, but alas, you are likely both a blessing and a curse. Before you speak, I must inform you that even your presence here weakens the wards that preserve the peace I hold over this tavern. I also can offer little aid, as I am bound here to maintain these wards. First, what I ask of you, then what I can offer. My people and I are bound here by a foul magic. We were not the pirates the stories tell. We were simple folk, surviving on what little we could get. But then one day the shadow fell upon the city, and its forces flooded in.
Fire Nation attack.
We fled in all directions, attempting to escape its wrath, but all failed. We each were struck down by one of those foul black arrows, and he motions towards the bar, and fell to both its poison and its magic. The arrows not only killed us, but imprisoned us here, for whatever foul purpose it may have had. I was the keeper, and as such, I was spared the initial siege, watching the harbor from my post. But Pelor spoke to me, and I rushed to the city, only to find death and destruction all around. It was only a matter of time before I was discovered, and I used my magics to ensure that whatever evil plans were to become of the fallen could not, making this structure a sanctuary for the spirits. The shadow tried and tried to break the wards I built, but by the glory of Pelor, it only ended in failure, and so time passed. In this form I cannot tell if it was 5 days or 500 years, but none came. Until recently. But this is what I can offer. I have yet to tell you of what I need. What I ask is that you remove the cursed arrows from the fallen. 30 folk were struck by them throughout the island. Their spirits reside here. If you go forth and find these fallen and remove the arrows, they will be free to move on and meet Pelor and once again find peace. Seek me out here as you free them, as I do offer rewards for freeing them, although what they are will remain to be seen. And to what I offer in addition. First, you are welcome to remain here for the night. I assure you, you will be safe, and you will have a peaceful rest. But once you wake, you must go. Your presence weakens the wards, as I have said, and I am drained as it is. I suggest that you make for the Lone Watch, as it was my sanctuary, and likely remains unaffected by this plague. Here is a map that will help guide you. And he hands you a tangible map.
What was the place?
Oh wait,
again?
that's not the right map. That's the map of the island.
What was the name of the place against his old sanctuary?
The Lone Watch.
Show Show him
Finally,
the ring we found. See what-
I offer you information to keep you safe while on the island. The wastes to the west contain the Shadow and his horde. They thrive in the darkness the mountain casts upon the island, and are likely more powerful now than ever before. Secondly, others have come before you. One host came, and the blight followed. The elements themselves seem to be bent to these outlanders' wills. They are likely not friends, and you should watch all creatures on the island for the control of these evil ones. Secondly are the ones that came after, only recently. The leader had an aura of magic about him, and his horde was definitely both well-trained and dangerous. Their ship still sits in the harbor, in fact, which I imagine you have noticed.
Very wonderful.
Now I must get back to maintaining the wards. Rest now, and I look forward to your return when you have freed my people.
Hey,
As he speaks the last words, he disappears.
Damn it.
Thank
He
you.
doesn't want to talk to you.
However, those of you that are in the room,
Mm-hmm.
warmth floods the room. There's a definite peacefulness that you would find in your sanctuaries with Heronius.
You get warm in the cookie.
I pop my head in. Hey, y'all, what happened?
Nothing. It's nice in here. Come on in.
I'm still bumbling around behind the place. Getting some like moldy bramble.
You eventually make your way around and find a door that led in from like the stable. Formerly, that comes in kind of
Okay.
behind the bar.
Alright, we'll try to
Can I see the map?
stealthily open it. Hey, or would that be move silently?
Sure.
Okay.
Which I'm assuming we're here.
No, we're here.
So
Did we go?
We went to the docks.
33?
Yeah. That's
30.
double
So
the mall
you
we went
stealthily open the door
Through
and
the docks.
spy everyone
So we
standing
gotta
in the
go
center of the room.
oh, hey guys. Okay, come in.
Bad news. It was an illusion. Good news. It's safe.
What do they want?
Spoilers!
Wait, tell me every detail. Just kidding.
I tell you.
I need to know everything.
We need to make our way to the Lone Watch.
We can stay here for the night.
It's like
safe.
right next to when we came in through the Devil's Maw.
Pretty sure it's fine.
So we gotta go up around.
Yeah.
So there's 3 sets here, 3 sets of people.
I'm gonna pass the map. around.
There's the
Show everyone.
curse to the west. There's the others that came midway, I guess would be the best way to say it. They brought the blight and dead elements to the will, and then there's a second set leader who has an aura of magic. And that was all they got.
I'm gonna tell everyone about the 30 arrows or the 30 fallen that we have to remove
We're
arrows
here.
Can we touch these arrows?
from. I'm
So we
assuming
gotta-
so. He told us to pull them
We're
out. So
cursed.
So we gotta
Don't
go
know.
that and then go south of the
If they're
scar.
cursed, I
or
want to
north.
touch them.
Since I
Different
guess that's a
word.
giant
Yeah.
chasm.
It's the
Use
your
touch
shirt.
that-
Lasso
well,
them.
magical, they obviously know
That's
that.
And
true.
then tie
If
them
you
to
fly
Jordan
over there,
all
'cause
right.
I'm pretty sure it's up the mountain.
It's a WoW quest.
It's just additional if you guys find it while you're going.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have
This
to.
is this whole like I said, this envelope here that's full of maps is all shit you can do on the island, and I'm not done yet.
Nice.
Yeah, we're in a WoW questing zone.
I've seen this.
Okay.
We've hit the hub. It's the
So
quest.
he had an exclamation point on his head.
Yes, he did.
Only we would have saw that.
And then when you open his dialogue, he had 3 question mark points in there.
Uh.
You had to click each one and hit accept.
What's your response? Fuck you, old man, and the horse you rode in on. I'm out.
If this was my MMO, that would be a response. Like your charisma 6, your response, your choices. Fuck off.
Not
Fuck
bad.
you. Fuck you. 3 choices.
Fuck yeah.
Angry tough volcano. Nice.
You guys decide what we're doing. Or
Choice
fair,
1,
nice.
fuck
Sleeping.
you. Choice you,
Sleeping,
fuck
yeah.
off. Choice
We're
3,
just
punch him in the face.
You guys, you know,
Oh, we
if
have
you're
to-
staying here,
we have to leave right away when we wake up.
you find the night to be incredibly refreshing.
Do we get extra spells?
×4 spells.
Plus 10 to hit and damage.
Plus 1 to
If
hit.
that's the case, to the waist!
Straight to the big bad.
Said there's just a big bad here.
Is
At
it?
least 4 big bads here.
What's the weather like?
Shitty.
Whether
Not
that
right
sign
now.
is frightening.
Frightful.
I mean, in the
In the game world.
game. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll wait till Ross gets back for you guys to decide. But when you wake, the sun is shining, and where you're at, you're definitely, you're not in the shadows of the mountains. But it's very evident that you're in a bowl of mountains, and along the edges, as the sun travels, they stay very, they're casting a shadow across the land.
Is it cool?
To the keepers.
No, it's
Okay.
it's
away.
I've
temperate.
got a dire wolf cloak, so just wondering if I need to wear it.
It's, I mean, you guys are approaching, it's approaching fall. It's probably early fall, but it's not cold.
Okay.
It's very, very temperate where you're at.
I just got
Yeah.
a cloak. I need to know if I gotta wear it or not.
This is like Ireland. Doesn't really get super cold, but
Calm
I've
down,
never
Lily.
been to Ireland.
Hey, calm
Not
down,
fucking
Lily.
geologist.
I've never been to Ireland either, and I know.
I'm a geologist.
I'm not
I
even
don't study islands with your islandology.
I'm not a meteorologist. How am I supposed to know?
12 to 15 miles to the Lone Watch.
You're 12 to
The
15
actual
miles.
quote from Riley. I don't think you ever worked with Riley.
No, this
I'm
was
not a
another
meteor.
person.
I'm not a meteorologist. I don't study meteors. What?
I think I remember someone saying that.
Somebody while we were there that
Yeah,
I'm not a
like Kayla.
meteorologist.
It was like Kayla or something.
How am I supposed to know what the weather's supposed to be like? I'm not a meteorologist. What? So you wake in the morning
We
When
step
you leave.
outside, take a deep breath,
and you get real high.
And I say,
Hey, what's going on?
there was
I go back into the water. I go back out in the water and drown myself.
It's not even. Fuck this shit. I'm
Done.
Are we heading towards the Lone Watch or whatever the hell it is?
Yep, to the
Yeah.
keeper's way.
East, out of the. Unless we want to search the town for some arrows.
Ooh, yeah.
Might as well.
Yep. Alright.
Yeah.
All right. So you kind of fan out,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Run some search.
and you spend your day. I'm just assuming you're taking some time.
I'm great at finding
And
things.
you don't find it there. Not only do you not find any black arrows, there's not even corpses in the town. It's just the crumbled ruins of the city.
Any black moss on the rooms?
Okay.
There's a lot of black moss.
I'm gonna take a little scrapey
Some
black
Molander.
moss, put it in a jar. I can give it to Rob.
You get it in
See
your
him
hand.
next.
Takes you over.
Transport.
Here you go. Maybe give it to Druid. Analyze the moss.
Druid has seen it before.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want anything to do with that shit.
Burn it. Burn it all.
Smoke that shit. Tripping balls as we get to the Lone Watch.
Well, it's getting weird over here.
I'm coming
Maybe I
down!
should take profession.
Cool.
Maybe I should take profession.
It's like a 4-day trip. When the fuck did we get here?
Alright.
Wind up back
Head east out of town.
There is a road that heads east out of town. The rest is kind of
Keeper's way.
wild and overgrown, but
Follow that road. Get going.
Wagon train.
shortly after you get out of the city, within a mile, you enter what they call the rock sea. The land is barren. There's no, real natural growth. There's lichen and what have you. And it's just kind of uneven plateaus of rock and some pillars of stone kind of littering the landscape. Even the wildlife, you would notice the wildlife appears to, have disappeared. Very dry. But the road continues true. It's very, easy traveling. And after a couple of hours of traveling, not even, you find yourself approaching a very ragged canyon where the earth seems to have opened up. The Devil's Scar. The opening spans, in sections it's like 100 feet wide, in other sections it's over 1,000.
Let's go over.
is
What's
there-
the trip?
However, along the Keeper's Way there is an ancient bridge stretching the scan. As you guys approach, you can notice that it's in disrepair, but overall is in pretty good condition.
I'll go
We
across
should probably not all go across at once.
first. Yeah, I'll go
How
across.
wide is it? Is it a big bridge or is it
It's a very big bridge.
I'll go last. I
Um,
probably
rope
weigh
or
as
like
much.
It's rope and wood.
Oh.
Is it
We
rickety?
have rope, right?
Oh.
not 1,000 feet, but a couple hundred.
Enough to like each of us kind of take a portion.
I do
and-
not have rope.
I don't. Well, I have 200 feet of rope.
Do you want to just take turns?
I cut the ropes.
No more debate.
End quest done.
We go around.
There is
Oh,
no
the-
round. We have to climb down now.
I'll walk across the bridge first.
In the first 25 feet, there's just kind of small sections missing, little 2-foot gaps.
As I'm going across, I'll yell out details.
There's a board missing.
And then there's this, kind of a section that's all there, and it's creaking, but it's not giving way, it's not cracking or anything. There ahead of you, there is a 15-foot section that is just
Gone.
Is it?
gone.
Toss the dwarf.
I didn't go out there.
Straight through the other side.
We have a half on our team.
I'll turn around, go back, and
Well,
I didn't take airwalk, so.
tell them that there's a 15-foot gap, roughly, that's not there.
How long is the bridge?
Beyond the 15-foot section, there is a 5-foot section missing further up. The bridge itself is, I'd have to dig out my map, but it's 250 feet long, give or take.
But the rope still spans it, right?
The ropes still span it.
Ugh. That far down on the rope.
I can fly.
What's everybody's weight?
Too much.
Yeah.
170 pounds.
A lot of us are wearing heavy armor.
Being that the dwarves are carrying like their maximum weight, they're like 500 pounds each.
I can let somebody else fly too. Does that work on a bridge like that? Like will you just drop like normal? Because how does it work on there?
How does fly work?
Well, on a bridge where there's no like a drop.
You can just fly.
Yeah, you just fly.
Oh,
You
it's
just
just
fly over.
It's-
Okay.
You don't hover. It's like a hovercraft.
It's
okay.
not like
It's like Superman fly.
Back to the
Yeah.
You don't need a force by which to push off of.
I didn't
Okay.
take airwalks.
in that case, I can do it on myself and somebody else who's super heavy that cannot get across. But I can only do it twice. Most of the rest.
So- If I
Let's not do that.
summon
Say that
one
for
of those, how
someone
many round trips would it be to get at least the heavier people
You
across?
have to rest. So.
else. Yeah, but.
assume that it could probably carry a person a trip.
Yeah.
Are you gonna turn into a giant ass bird?
I was just gonna summon a giant owl and have it carry some people across. And let's say, screw you guys, turn into a bird and fly to the tower.
That sounds like a hoot.
I'll see what you did.
I don't.
Owl be.
Don't.
Sorry, that was kind of flighty.
Oh, so I'll be able to get
Say it
at
with
least
mouth,
the heavy people
Good.
across.
Summon
Fighters.
my lion, mount him, and just run.
She could probably bound across the whole thing.
You
What was
412.
I'm sick of
This
you
is
calling
not a
me
good
down
plan.
here for this.
Someone's getting
Like
off.
you're having sex with one.
Wait, I got a perfect plan, guys. I'm gonna mount my lion. Again?
God, you're insatiable.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool with being flown across by this giant bird.
I mean,
Tilly's can walk.
If we
She's
run
pretty light.
fast enough, it can. Well, you got a 15-foot jump.
Oh,
There's a 15-foot gap.
I thought there was a
break those boards.
There's some 5-foot gaps too. Those ones are easy.
Could probably
See,
do
like,
this.
running fast enough while on the lion, it can do like the legless thing when he in the Hobbit movie when he's just jumping up.
As your
The
lion falls to its death, it'll just dismiss itself and you jump off.
Yeah,
Like Yoshi.
that would be great.
Yeah, it's like Yoshi.
Use your lion like Yoshi.
I'm sure he'll be real happy next time he comes in.
I was still falling at the same speed when I went into my own plane, son of a bitch.
The worst damn contract I ever made in my life.
You guys can determine how you're getting across here.
I'm with C-Mak's bird. Yo, dog.
I
You
mean,
carry
if it's
all of
only
us?
gonna take like
Couple
a
trips.
couple trips of moving people across,
I'm gonna check one more thing quick.
giant fucking dragon comes out of there, eats it.
Snack.
Comes out from the fucking cavern.
How far down? How far down does
A
it go?
bunch of purple worms.
Oh, it's
just-
tough to see the
Okay.
the bottom. It's dark down there, but
Foggy.
Hey, drop your sword down there.
No.
you could
Oh.
throw something down there. I mean, you could,
Yeah.
based
I'm
on.
Torch.
gonna throw one. I'm
Meh.
gonna light one of my torches and
Oh.
throw them down there.
Okay, I guess it's...
As it falls,
gets
you
right
would
away.
guess.
Oh.
Oops.
The bottom is just a writhing mass.
Oh god.
Tentacles come up.
Ah!
No!
Bad choice. Bad choice.
Back to the tower. The wards can hold. Angry the beast.
No, I totally went. Wait, I'm like, what? I don't remember putting that here.
It's a
How are you this inept?
colossal plus ooze.
It's Jubilix.
God, no.
It's, you'd guess where you're at. It's probably about 100 feet down. It isn't.
Oh. That's survivable.
Survivable.
It's not survivable. But,
Someone just fell
It would be
300
survivable.
feet off of a cliff into a volcano.
well, good for them.
Yeah.
don't want
A D&D
Oz.
character could survive. A fighter could survive it.
Tumble.
Tumble will reduce it by 10 feet.
Just cartwheel down the side of the canyon.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm gonna look at the torch.
Stop. Thank you.
Is there anything moving down there?
Just a torch. I mean, the torch isn't moving, but the light would be
That'd be
flickering.
funny. Just the torch moving. Oh.
Something's got it. It just come alive.
Air elemental.
How many people can his owl take across?
All
Like,
of us.
Actually. I just summoned 3 hippogriffs.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
They're on my second level list, and it's like
Jump on its
I
back.
have
I'm gonna
summoned.
bow first. To introduce those who've seen Harry Potter.
Yes. That's
Bow low
another series we could.
until they bow back.
Yeah, that is one that we could all watch.
It's like there has to be
9
another
movies. 70.
I mean,
thing that can fly people
Yeah.
across that I have access to.
Everybody's just
I do
chicken
own
to
them
walk
all.
across a bridge.
They're good. I watched them.
yeah.
The
Is
first one's a little
isn't it-
girl, but once you get to Prisoner of Azkaban,
Everybody's
it's
just
really
chicken to go across Crumbly Bridge.
I weigh a lot, and it's Crumbly Bridge. I'm gonna fall 100 feet.
I
That's
might have
all.
to run across this, and I'd rather not stress it this early.
Right.
Isn't it
We
like
might have to
15
run
feet
back.
gone and it's just the ropes?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
jump it.
Jump 15 feet.
Jumping 15 feet isn't as hard as you would think. What did you roll, robot?
13.
You would have fallen short.
That's not as hard as you
What's
think.
your armor check penalty?
Yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even gotten a foot off. I'd have been like,
It's only a DC 15 to jump 15 feet.
I don't get an
Let's
armor
see.
penalty for running as a dwarf, right?
My jump is
You
at a negative
still-
5.
You don't take a weight penalty, you take an armor. That is figured in already.
Yeah, my jump's negative 5. Well, I rolled an 18, so it's been very lucky.
You'd have been close. You might have been able to grab. You guys may have been close enough to grab.
I can use climb. Can I climb the ropes?
We
on
got
the side?
hippogriffs now.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Right into battle. Alright. I'm across.
They only
Okay.
last for 7
I'm,
Me too.
I jump on a hippogriff.
7 rounds? Oh, we need
But-
to go now.
3 of them will have plenty of time to make it,
Yeah, really
Over
got
and
Well,
back.
as long as we're not standing here talking.
along with Flyboy over there. Flyboy could fly his 2 characters.
Okay.
Yeah,
One,
the hippogriffs
2,
fly at
3.
100,
Yeah,
and
you,
their light load is 300 pounds.
you could easily make it in the 7 rounds and get everybody across.
Let's just keep flying until they desummon.
And then you just
And then we
We can
just
fly 5 feet off the ground. Yeah! Oh!
because it'll be faster to fly than it would be to walk.
I'll just face plant
We
like.
can't all ride them, though.
Their light mode is 300.
Yeah, that's like one of me, even in heavy.
Same.
Yep. So, even with like putting Tomadrill on Jorgendel's shoulders.
So, using the hippogriffs and Mark's fly ability, you guys all are on the opposite side. Somebody roll me a d8.
And then 8 giant scorpions.
1.
1,000.
1.
There's a 1.
1,000 rounds attack.
One
All
Baylor.
right.
Shit.
So we do get combat this session, huh?
Why'd you roll?
I rolled a 3.
As you're traveling along through a particularly rough section,
This is the Skid Row
something
section.
comes
I rolled an 8.
writhing out of the rocks to the side.
What does?
So I'm gonna need.
Snake.
One.
Giant centipede.
With
One
the
snake.
flames.
I will just put out the map. The path is 20 feet wide. Just
Well, we
draw it
fought
down the
them
middle
before.
straight because I'm lazy. And then place your characters, which Kevin has, and then give me initiatives.
Horse isn't there.
No, the horse isn't there.
My horse is there. He can summon.
Look at him. He's Phantom Steed.
Is it this side of the map? Can we erase this?
Leave it alone.
Yeah, you can erase that if that's. Yeah, I drew that. You can erase that.
Okay.
Leave it alone.
It looks like some beds.
It is beds.
Good
In
job.
fact, it was
legal.
goblin beds.
Yes, and we are going to kill their women and children.
Wow.
Maybe.
What
next
do goblins do to you?
I don't know if
Is
we
this-
actually are going to kill their women and children.
No, well, if they're evil, we are.
Okay.
I got
The balls are not in
So is Jefferson Wolf back on the other continent?
Actually, wait.
Yeah,
because
he's-
I think
he's
he's
in
He's
stables
stabled them.
with the horses.
Sad.
whole.
How could you leave your animal companion
Yeah,
behind?
that's actually.
Okay. I thought you
Yeah,
did.
that's not a good idea.
Jefferson Wolf could have came along.
Okay.
A wolf can ride on a ship. Horses kind of don't really like being on boats, and
These are
moreover,
good
Too much.
require specific kind of. A wolf can just curl up with you in your little hammock.
Okay, so
I
Jefferson
mean,
Wolf is.
It can be in the
hammock.
hammock and you can sleep on the floor because it's the boss. Let's be honest.
It's a dominant alpha wolf.
Yeah.
Alpha male.
It's gonna run.
Okay, J Dubs is with us.
But not Bartholomew.
No, Bartholomew horse is.
You dumped a lot of water on there.
I did.
Yeah,
You
you
need
dumped a
another one,
lot.
aren't you?
Yes, he is.
Here,
He just likes to see it turn black.
He likes a lot of things black.
Too easy. Too obvious.
Is it?
Hmm.
Is it really though?
Kind of.
Is it? Is really?
Is it? Or is it?
Doesn't mean it's not funny to say all
May I
the
have a
time.
soda?
That is true as
No.
well.
Just saying.
Thank you.
I did it.
Because it's common. doesn't
You
mean it's
did
not
it.
hilarious.
You did it! Yay! I got a message. I'm going to
Called you.
Debt collectors.
probably Greenhaven automated.
20.
20 wide. The road
I don't
runs
even
all
know
the
who
way
that
through.
is.
Let's say.
It was an old person. She's like, don't tell me you got out of the house.
Oh
I'll
God.
try you again later. That's weird. Hung up.
Who's your grandma?
No.
Well, there was no garbage bag in the dumpster,
You know-
was there?
No, there wasn't.
Over the last week, I've gotten a call from someone at hospice care looking for someone else, and I got a text message for someone doing a house visit for someone named Monica.
People are avoiding people.
Yeah, that's the first time my number has ever gotten wrong numbers.
I guess we'll find out if.
Give me a good old lineup here.
I got a call once.
You get calls.
And that's it.
Good lineup.
Only Tomadrill is standing.
Everybody else was taking a nap when this happened.
Is that Belleville?
Well, he's probably the only one
Yeah, you don't need
scary
Velcro.
enough to land on his feet.
Are we going this way?
Whichever way you want to be
Doesn't
going.
matter.
Just put Jordan towards the front. Probably with a hide robot.
Yeah. I need to be
C-Mak?
where I am.
Yeah.
What's there?
I'll guard the rear.
Probably shouldn't have drawn it right on the middle. The little-
Jordan's
Oh,
always
you're
gonna
always
be
a
up
little
here.
crooked, so.
It's called a lilt. And it goes to the left.
Just a little bit.
Oh no.
No, I just didn't have all the pieces I needed.
Okay.
No,
That's
it's a
actually
dragon.
what it is.
And
His base is all warpy.
He's looking the other way. too.
Drogar,
And a beholder.
and a beholder,
Holy cow.
Oh,
and
we're
this giant
good.
spider,
We're gonna die.
I'm gonna shoot myself in the face with an arrow.
and I only had one piece of what it actually is.
The rats.
Rats!
That's spiders.
Rat pile!
Are they all
Spiders.
spider swarms?
They are all spider swarms.
Oh
I
my
pour
God, do we have
oil
AoE?
on myself
Do we have
and light
AoE?
myself on fire.
Yeah, you got any more torches? Like,
All right, give me initiatives.
Um,
Cormac,
You're not taking me.
19.
Lady Talise,
4.
Nathan,
13.
Corva,
13.
Robot.
5.
Robot.
because
Oh, that's Robot's character's name.
Barlargen,
Bargron.
C-Mak, because
6.
Bargron.
I don't have your
Stun
character's
done.
name. Guy, I know
Florence.
yours is Al, but
20.
Alphonse.
evidently at the point that I got to this point, I just went, yeah, I'm done with that. Tomadrill
19.
I should have gotten my
and Jorgendal.
6.
You should have had better initiative. You need to do some AoE spells on these guys.
I don't have any AoE spells.
Yeah, you do.
Which ones?
All of
We
them.
don't have them learned.
I don't have them learned.
That was a burp.
I've got Briarweb. I don't know if I have it memorized though.
The giant spider piece. If you will move it forward 20, actually move it forward 40. It's gonna have to double move. That's the spider swarm. That's not a giant spider.
Oh.
Move it towards the party. Guy, your turn.
I got Briarweb. I can use that.
All vermin.
Are
Damn
there
it.
plants
Can't
around
pass
us?
to 'em.
Burst?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
there's no plants around you. You're in a barren wasteland.
Yeah.
I got 2 sound
The rock sea. I'm gonna take out my short sword. And not that it's gonna do me any good, I don't think. But yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Absolutely nothing else.
And let the AoE people do this thing.
There
I
are
do have
no,
sounders. That's the one thing I
there are
have.
no AoEs. Don't have Rob.
Cormac,
I'm gonna what should I roll? Will to see if I cower in fear. Not afraid of spiders.
I could silence
They
them
won.
so they're just silent, creepy little spiders coming at you.
That's
Because
even
then we won't be able to
That's even worse.
hear where they are.
It's worse.
Zone of silence.
That'd be terrible.
Engulfing darkness. So, you know, let's make it all kinds of fun. Escalating max.
Spells.
Hack at them one at a time.
How hard it is to
Jefferson
hit a
Wolf can
swarm.
eat a few of them.
No?
They regenerate, I think, don't they?
What's the area of a fireball?
30-foot burst.
Okay.
Hey, did I ever know what
I know.
those that item I got with the pieces in it? Do I know what those things do? Did I get any instructions with it or just...
No, there's no instructions.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say, fuck, and
Turtle up.
we'll turtle in, yeah. We'll go, we'll just defensive fighting.
Tomadrill. Yes, you could position a 30-foot burst and hit all 4 of them up there.
Okay. Do that.
So you make a ranged attack on a square. You're gonna want to move in front of, because you want to take a penalty for throwing through.
So we'll do.
You move to there, and we'll say it's 1 ranged increment, and you're trying to hit AC 10 to hit a square.
Yeah.
I could dig out the template, but
No,
if you hit a square, equidistance in between those two, you will hit them all.
Yeah. 16.
16 will hit. I'm gonna let you roll damage first because depending on where the damage is, will depend on whether I need to worry about rolling this.
6, 5, 13.
13. All right.
'Cause I just used the minor one.
Right. The giant spider, it will kill. The dragon, it will kill.
I do have repel vermin.
The beholder
Nice.
will
I
kill,
didn't take it. I should have.
Beholder's dead.
and that will be it.
Tom looks around and is like, "You're welcome."
You didn't get them all.
Nathan,
Oh god. He's enthused by this. He doesn't give a shit about spiders. He's gonna go jump at it with a sword.
Okay.
Yay! Suicide.
Actually, no. You're right.
Suicide by
I'm gonna
spider
write-
sword.
I'm gonna ready an action when it comes into range, try to attack it.
fair enough.
An
Corva,
action when it comes into range to tumble away at max speed.
With her sound burst on this,
okay.
and then
Just doing that one.
let's see, I forget.
Maybe you can kill that one.
You tell me how it works.
I forget. So I roll a
Deals
3, so-
1d8 sonic damage to the subjects and may stun them. I don't know. Okay.
17.
Yeah,
That's
you're gonna
my
hit.
spell
You
save.
don't have to hit him.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're gonna hit.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm not actually casting a spell specifically. Gotcha.
This is an area spell. You just cast it on an area. So
All right, so 7.
7
I love
damage.
reincarnate.
And
It's my
may
favorite
stun
spell.
one round is
Isn't it
a
several d6?
They have to accept it.
1d8
But
at this level.
if they're an animal, they don't know better.
Fortitude will partially
This
serve.
spider is now a halfling.
Negate stun.
And what's the fortitude save?
And that would be the
10 plus spell level plus your casting mod.
Okay, that was 17. Or no,
So, 10. What's your wisdom?
I rolled for it. So
Not bad.
1. Or no, 3.
13 plus the spell
16.
level.
Weird. Nice.
Move the Drogar forward 40, and then it is C-Mak's turn.
And it's a
See this-
swarm.
Just massive spiders rolling at you. Fuck that.
Oh, what? Run away.
I'll
Throw the ball and pitch yourself.
cast repel vermin on.
Where's
Yeah. 10-foot radius centered on me.
Hug a druid.
Vermin with hit die of less than 1/3 your level cannot penetrate the barrier. Vermin with hit die of 1/3 your level or more can penetrate the barrier if it succeeds a will save. Even so, it takes 2d6 damage.
Nice.
He just gets out a can of raid. Just sprays it around.
Pretty much.
Jorgendal?
I'm gonna draw my 1 potion of alchemist fire.
Okay.
Yeah, I got. Oh, he's within. Let's throw it. 10 feet increments. Let's see what my range is. It ain't gonna be good. Well,
It might be too good.
it'll be fine because of base attack, but
And you're just throwing it
10 feet.
10 feet. It's not like you're chucking it.
Base attack at level 7 will be 7. So 8. 11.
11 total. Alright. It bursts, it hits the square and bursts into flames. thankfully you don't have to hit a swarm because it's just a giant writhing mass.
What?
So, yes, you light the you have the alchemist fire on the Durgar, it's burning it. The Durgar swarm.
I believe it does 1d6 right away. A direct hit deals 1d6 of fire damage, so 6 damage. Every creature within 5 feet of the point of where the blast hits takes 1 point of fire damage. Of the splash.
None.
So, on the round following a direct hit, the target takes an additional d6 of damage. If desired, the target can use a full round to attempt to extinguish it. So, DC is a 15 reflex.
Giant,
Well, there is a reflex
giant
save.
vermin.
It fails.
What
So
happens-
that will kill the Durgar.
Just looks crazy.
What happens if she casts the
Just
spell
sneeze mid-pen.
giant vermin on a swarm? Is it technically one creature, so they all turn into giant
They become
versions?
a giant
A giant
swarm
sword.
of spiders. Or a swarm of giant spiders, I guess.
This did not help.
Would be. Robot.
You target him now.
Are you sure?
I'm gonna go down the
Within them,
road.
there's probably 100 spiders, something like that.
All right, move robot this way. 60, because we're gonna assume he's running away from the swarm.
Yep.
How many?
I don't want him in my armor.
How many spiders is in this one swarm? Do you think?
Over 100.
Over 100.
Let's do it.
At least 10.
I don't have it memorized. Don't worry, guys.
And Lady Talise, you act left.
Sound burst. Oh, I don't need to
You
roll.
don't have to hit with that.
The giant swarm. 6. And my DC is 16.
Guy?
I'm gonna follow robot.
Fucking spiders!
Cormac?
I don't want to jump on you. It can move 40, right?
You could run 60.
No, it can move 40. Yes. I'm gonna go to right here, so it can't reach me. I guess I could double move and jump right on my face.
How does magic missile work with swarms?
It just hits it. It technically doesn't. But in the Stanaway world, magic missile hits, so magic missile hits it.
It breaks into the little of the 9 hit points or however many hit points that constitutes the swarm.
Yeah.
The magic missile disintegrates into that.
Commodore.
Yeah, he's running
How far?
Nathan.
as far as he can go.
How far is that?
Probably put him
Nathaniel.
right behind robot.
He's gonna turn around too. He's seeing everybody else
Fuck
vacate.
this.
Yeah.
Clarence, you got this shit.
Corva.
Do you have another sunburst?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna run.
God damn it. No, I mean.
You're on your own.
Actually, no. I'll stay there and I'll ready an action to hit it because that's gonna help.
All right, move it up to Lady Talise.
God damn it.
Bye, you're dead.
Is it within 10 feet of me?
No, it's
quite,
outside
no.
of it.
Damn it.
You're not standing close enough to me. What you do is walk to me now.
I mean, if you really want to make a melee attack on it, you can. But it's not going to do anything because it doesn't affect swarms. However, you have to roll a fort save as it enters your square, as you're covered in writhing.
Alright.
Yeah, when you guys face they faced the vampire lord who's summoned, I can't remember how many, it was like 3d6 worth of swarms, or 2d6
Rat
worth of,
swarms.
or the rat swarm.
22?
No, that's some
All
of the
right,
spiders.
you're not
What are the
sickened by
spiders?
it.
Yeah. I let you guys actually actively hit them. Because I felt sorry. Because
C-Mak.
Yeah, I'm gonna just walk over to.
Stand by me.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah,
It's
you can
actually it's in your square. You're in the swarm right now.
Oh.
So move him back 5 feet right there. Then move the swarm up and put yourself on top of it because the spiders are crawling all over you.
So he hits the swarm. He hits.
And the swarm needs to make a DC 18 will save because I'm assuming it's more than a third of my level.
Unless it has a negative modifier, it's fine. I would say yes, it is. Barely. I rolled an 18. It has a 0 modifier.
And
Myself,
had
stuck
it.
up in the balls of alchemist fire.
Vermin. And it takes 2d6 points of damage. So
Yeah, I used it.
Oh no, that was in our.
11 damage.
It had 1 hit point, so.
Nice.
You're welcome.
Thanks. I was gonna see if I could, since they were on me, if I could vampiric touch them
Drain your essence.
and drain their essence out of them and into me.
You just grab a spider and just.
Why would you want spider essence?
Well, they're already swarming on me,
Any essence is good essence.
so you know.
All right, so you deal with the spider swarms, which
And that was
Alright.
worth 10,000 XP.
No.
Yay!
spider swarms are creature rating 1. So
Now you deal with the rat swarm, and the swarms increase in size as we go.
Don't worry.
It's
I
bigger.
have that
Giant
on you
It's
for-
them.
This is what we do.
70
You
minutes.
giant vermin form 1. So it
Dragon
turns them all
swarm.
into large spiders. And then you farm that experience because there's going to be like 200 of them.
If you don't, if you
You
want
just
to
gotta
die,
survive,
Yeah.
that's all.
It can't be that hard, right? Spiders? No.
would I have been able to vampiric
Webs and
touch
poison,
them
all that good shit.
since they were on me? I guess I'll find out next time.
Dragon Ball Z.
I'm assuming you're going to continue on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to sleep in the
I'm
dead
not
spider
daunted.
swarms.
All right, so you progress
Little
onwards.
Steve, but
Chewbacca died.
So wait, are all those dead spiders now
Oh, he did?
over you?
Okay, I played him?
They're just
Yeah.
in your
That's it.
armor or in your
I don't
robe.
have armor.
In your robe. You just have them in
Peter Mayhew.
down in your
Just had to make sure that
unmentionables.
I didn't have anything else there.
Well, they're all
So
dead
you
now,
continue to travel
I'll just
forward.
dust them off me.
Uh,
Thanks for
like an hour and a half has passed. Roll a d8 again. Whoever's rolling d8s.
I'm not doing it this time.
8.
Nice.
8 spider swarms.
No,
So-
you get a 1.
You
Over
continue
swarms.
on again for a long chunk of time, encountering nothing. So
Rolling
now
into
it's
each other.
you've been traveling down this
Covered.
path for or through the rock sea for about 3 hours, and it's starting to
Where on us?
no, it's starting to break up, and you're moving out of
The swarm
Hi.
area.
the wild,
Rocks.
untamed rocks of it, and into what you would assume would be called Keeper's Flats. And as you enter, especially the nature, you notice that it's kind of more typical of plains. The blight doesn't seem to be affecting anything here. There's small clusters of trees. There's even some wild game.
Welcome into the white area.
And the train is, as you're traveling initially, you can see in the distance the train is getting more hilly.
Huge tan.
Oh, he'll know.
Starts here. Like this is all tan. Look at the camera. It's all white up here.
And if somebody wants to roll a d20,
17.
17.
Fuck.
Spider swarms.
17 and fuck.
Your travel across the flat of the plains is uneventful. And you find yourself, in the mountainous, entering the mountainous area, and ahead, you can see what appears to be a small building, perhaps, on the right side of the road.
Let's go look at it.
I'll walk up to the building.
As you approach, it's obviously a
Not gonna lose
small. Probably it was a building, probably once a rest station, but it's from the outside you can see the roof is kind of collapsed and the walls are starting to crumble.
Go in.
Check it out.
All right, robot, you can go inside.
Yep.
In the rubble, you can clearly make out something kind of protruding, but it's tough to tell what it is.
Dig it
I'll
out.
let it.
I go up to it and grab it.
It's a human bone.
Nice. Can kind
Is
of
there
take
more
the
to it?
rubble and move it off to the side around the bone.
as you dig through, there's you find more and more pieces of bone,
Earth.
Do I find a black arrow?
and you eventually find a skull
Okay.
pierced with a black arrow.
Yep. I take the black arrow.
He's
You're
gonna
gonna
he's
touch
gonna
it?
He's
grab it.
grabbing the black arrow.
He's grabbing the block.
Fine. I'll.
You can just grab it if you want.
Okay. Yeah. Let's.
I mean, you're gutsy.
I'm gonna put my hand on
No,
his
I-
shoulder.
The
as
cleric
he's
in me
pulling
is
it.
worried.
Guardian.
Let's see. These are cursed. All right.
Yep.
So I'll just take a piece of cloth and kind of throw it over and grab it.
Roll me a nothing because you're fine.
Okay. Roll a 7.
What does the black arrow look like? Can I
Inspect it.
There you
Yeah.
go.
It's
We'll look at it in your hand. Just touch
as
me
you
with
pull it out, it's it's not sturdy by any means anymore. It looks very much like a normal arrow, but made of just a deep black wood.
It's like the opposite of Inuyasha arrow. You gotta pull it up towards
When
the
he
chest.
pulled it out, did anything visible happen?
Nothing visible.
He wants us to bring these arrows back to him.
Yes.
Can I make a
It's
knowledge
evil.
nature check to try and
Yeah, you
figure
can
out
say
what the
we're back.
wood is?
Yeah.
I could have sworn he
said-
said bring them.
Did?
Or did he just say talk to me afterwards?
I'm gonna
29.
bring them with. So
And throw it in my quiver.
no, I
It
take it out of
appears
his
to
quiver.
be like a
'Cause he's gonna shoot
hardwood,
it.
but the black coloring is very odd. It doesn't appear to be
You
a
grab it and
natural
curses
coloring of the wood.
Fall over dead.
Shit,
Interesting.
I nicked myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Hey, become a zombie.
Does it still need magic?
I can detect magic.
I mean, I could too.
I got it.
I'm gonna become
Yeah, my spells
spider
worthless
swarm.
until this point. Yeah, but there's magic on it.
No magic.
Okay, it's safe
Detect
to touch.
evil.
Oh, it's you.
Oh, detect evil on it.
No evil.
Alright, it's safe to touch. There's no evil in the
Well,
magic.
I was already holding it, so I'm just like.
It's safe to touch, huh?
Stab yourself with it. See what
Is
happens.
there any runes or anything on there?
No, nothing unusual. He
Stab the
actually,
rogue.
C-Mak was trying to
Coloring.
figure out the wood, and
Is it cursed, rogue?
What's the point look like? Is it skewed stone or metal?
it's a metal tip.
Okay.
Barbed.
Not like wickedly barbed.
Like a cat.
Now we got one arrow. I'm gonna look around and see if there's any other corpses in here.
Corpses are barbed.
You spend some time digging about in the small building, and nothing else is discovered.
So the lookout was killed, probably.
He said he was the lookout.
Huh?
When that happened, he said he was the lookout.
I mean, look out to wherever we're going. Or at least
But this
someone-
was Paylor's. This is where he was.
No.
No,
Maybe
he's
that-
further
I
down.
could have sworn he said he was up in that building when
He,
they attacked
he's
him.
in the lone watch. We're over here in the keeper's.
Oh, we're not
watch.
even in the.
No, we're
No.
over
I
here.
thought you were over here now.
God, robot, pay attention.
No.
Well, it's good that the ranger knows where we're going. At least he's playing his character.
I am
We're over
right.
here!
It-
Shut up, dwarf.
This looks like a tower.
So you guys continue.
I don't know
and
what you men think towers are, so.
the
For all I
the
know.
train gets hillier, and
That's true. I'm half.
as you're crossing
You and I are gonna-
the hilly regions of the Keeper's Flat, eventually you can see the Lone Watch kind of reaching
Find it now.
skyward in the distance.
Does it still have a light?
Light does appear in the upper sections of the tower.
Check
Oh
it out.
shit, it's Ghost!
Well, we saw light when we were coming in here earlier.
Hey, that Ghost is
And
nice.
it's getting we're approaching nighttime now.
Maybe we should rest.
Let's move up to it.
Yeah.
He's
And
in
when
the
you
safe
reach
there.
the tower, it's somewhat crumbled, but not excessively. And there's a wide door it's still on its hinges, and it's closed.
And knock.
And then behind the tower, the ground slopes rapidly out of sight. It's kind of a steep slope, and then it immediately climbs up into the mountains. And the tower is very, very tall.
Oh, nice.
It's the tower.
Tens of feet.
Tower.
Sears Tower.
Oh, I just opened the door.
Seriously.
Open the door.
Yep.
Seriously.
As you open the door, you're greeted with the light of torches.
Nice.
The interior of the base of the tower it's obviously experienced some damage. It's now kind of one grand room. There is no longer, any kind of dividing walls or anything, and nothing. It's just an open area spanning upwards.
Nothing to go up.
Correct.
Echo.
About 30 feet up, you can see a section of crumbled floor, where it's just a ledge.
These torches, they look fresh.
Yeah, the torches look fresh.
I'm gonna take a torch.
You're gonna step into the room?
Yes.
As you step into the room,
It disappears.
It all disappears.
a man in black robe steps forward on the ledge
Oh.
and begins to speak.
Hey.
What's up, bro?
So he's speaking to you.
Okay.
Tellus appears to have been correct. The egotistical bard and his merry men have indeed come to Devil's Maw.
Not bad.
Well, I can't offer much of a greeting as I'm very busy, but you're welcome to stay down there if you'd like. Of course, should you attempt to come up here, I'll have to kill you. This is my tower, and I am your host. So I feel it's the least you can offer to me is that kindness. As far as what brings you here, I do not know, but I'd imagine it's that insufferable witch or the annoying lizard tribe. I know you're going to ask for information, so I won't waste both of our time. I'll share what I know. The lizards stay in their swamp. Their boss sent them here years ago to try to get rid of me, and she'll be stinging from it for years to come. They do have some numbers, however, so they could be a nuisance to the likes of you. The witch is a different story. She seems to have had to have enough sense to avoid me. However, she is messing with the whole island. I can deal with the blight, as it makes my own minions feel a bit more at home. But the harnessing of the elements is a different story. If she kept it up, I would have handled it personally, but it seems like you can do it instead.
Great.
And thus I can focus on my own projects. If you want to meet her face to face, I'd recommend getting rid of the sources of her blight. She's got one in the Dark Woods and one in the Edge Woods. And I'd also deal with her elemental focuses. They're right where you'd assume.
One in the Darkwoods, one in the...
Edgewoods. So the Edgewoods are here.
And after he says they're right where you'd assume, you can see him look thoughtful and he says, I forget what Tellus tells me of you. There's one at the volcano, one at Gambler's Hollow, one at the lake,
I figured
and one in the
it'd be
empty
me.
foothills.
One in each.
volcano.
The Gambler's place and the volcano are pretty close together.
Oh,
Yeah, they're right there.
I was thinking it was like elemental, like
Oh, yeah.
lava,
Fire,
water,
like-
airy,
Foothills.
earth.
What was the last one?
The empty foothills.
Basically, they're all on the top edge. right
Telos?
Tellus.
Tellus.
You haven't met Tellus.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, who's Tellus? Is
He-
he good or bad?
We don't know.
He's the old man that ran the
here.
bar
Go upstairs.
where you met Jordan.
Oh, that was a long.
He's
Who
A wizard.
are you?
Yeah.
I'd watch yourself when you confront her, however. She's made some powerful allies here on the island, and I hate to report to Tellus that the group he showed so much interest in perished at her hands. Now go or stay. Just make sure you close the door when you leave. I have work to do.
But as long as
And
we're
he just
here, I can leave
turns
the
and
door
kind
open.
of steps away.
I'm gonna leave
say
the door
goodbye.
open.
I'm gonna say
Who
goodbye.
are you?
Well, only
Can I have some food?
only he was in there.
Wizard.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you guys. I want to see you guys go up there.
and
Man, I heard there's a good
Tower.
treasure. There's a ghost in here. You guys missed it. He told me amazing treasure up top. You gotta go there.
He was totally undead.
Here, I built you a ladder. Boom. And that's in the Lone Watch.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So this is getting towards the end of the second day, isn't it?
Should probably fly a note over to the ship and tell them to move on.
Oh, we're not
and
gonna
come
send
back for us.
Tiberius. Worthless.
I can
We're
wild
like up
shape.
at the top, like by the tower, like
There you
just
go.
get like some torches. We're like,
What do you guys want me to go tell Jordan?
I mean, we're probably gonna be here for a while, so
Yeah.
you might as
Yeah,
well send him on his way. Maybe have him come back.
yeah, pick us up on the way back.
Alright.
Ask him how long he'll be, and say, you do decide to pick us up on the way back, or like we can come back through in a month's time, or a week's time, or
We can hijack that boat and road to freedom. true.
So you're gonna go.
Yep, I'm gonna wild shape and
We got mystery meat.
fly off and
And he
And we got
killed
some
3
roast
weeks time.
spiders.
3 weeks.
Good, actually.
Okay. Would there be any chance when you're coming back through, if you pick us up, you could bring us back to the south, or would you just be going straight back north?
Depends on how much you pay me.
We're friends
We'll
of
see where the winds take us.
Yeah. We'll see how the plot develops.
So, you guys are at the Lone Watch.
Nice. There it is.
I'm
There-
remarkably shocked. I had built in the you guys attack the black robed man, where it's just
The whole
Let's-
come up here and I'll kill you.
let's
Taunt.
he gets his buddies to go after, or his buddy to go after you first. I won't reveal anything beyond HP 404.
Yeah.
A
mean,
rogue,
we still
a
have
rogue
time.
character, and when that has 400.
No, that's
Okay.
his underling.
I was gonna say it. Oh yeah, he's probably a god. He's got that much hit points and he's rogue. Because if he's like a wizard, he's only got like a D4.
Who is
Hit
your
die.
master?
Even with
It's a good
status
point.
Oh.
He's
That's
good.
why
He's in
I
his.
had to build
He's in
that
the
in.
late
Some
20s.
evil.
Yeah.
Well, just because he's evil doesn't mean I necessarily like. I'm gonna suicide on him.
No, right.
I'm awful good, not awful stupid.
Oh, I should have.
I'm pure neutral, so I mean I can really give a shit.
Ah, awful stupid. It is one and the same.